The sun was sinking low when Lily Mae Carson ran barefoot across the open fields, her breath sharp in her chest, her heart pounding like a wild drum desperate to break free. The earth was dry and cracked beneath her feet, stinging every step, but she didn't stop. She couldn't. She had spent her whole life obeying, surviving, doing whatever her father demanded, until the day his anger broke. Something inside her, something that could never be repaired. The farm had always felt like a prison, its fences like iron bars, and she had grown up believing escape was impossible. But something inside her had changed when she overheard her father, planning to force her into a marriage to pay off his debts. That was the final straw. So she ran, dress torn on a fence post, hair tangled with the wind, praying that freedom existed somewhere beyond the horizon. The woods seemed to whisper encouragement, but then she heard it, the thunder of hooves behind her. Fear gripped her lungs. Her father had sent men after her before. He would never allow her to choose her own life. She tripped forward, knees scraping the dirt, but pushed herself up again, tears burning her eyes. The horse drew closer, kicking up dust, circling in front of her. She shielded her face, expecting to be grabbed, dragged home, punished. But when she dared to look up, it wasn't one of her father's men. It was him, the quiet cowboy she had seen only once in town. Colt Weston, with his steady eyes and sun-browned skin, sat tall in the saddle, concern shaping his expression. "You'll hurt yourself running like that," he said gently. Lily stumbled back, voice shaking. "Please, don't take me back." The cowboy didn't reach for her. He didn't demand answers. He just studied her face like someone who understood pain when he saw it. "I'm not here to drag you anywhere," he said softly. "Looks to me like you need help." Lily's throat tightened. No one had ever said that to her before. She could hear distant shouting behind them, her father's voice, furious, drawing closer. Colt extended his hand, his voice calm in the growing danger. "We can talk later. But right now, you need to get somewhere safe." She hesitated only a heartbeat before placing her hand in his. He lifted her onto the horse with surprising gentleness, settling her in front of him, his arms bracing her securely. The stallion surged forward as Colt whispered to the reins, guiding them away from the life that had cornered her. And as the wind rushed past, Lily realized she wasn't just running from something anymore. She was racing toward something new, something she had never known. A chance, Colt's horse carried them across, winding grasslands and over a shallow river, where the water glimmered like glass, under the early dusk, and Lily held tight to the worn leather saddle, feeling the steady, protective presence of the cowboy behind her. When they finally reached his ranch, the sky had deepened to a bruised purple, and lantern light glowed warmly from the porch of a modest wooden house nestled against a backdrop of rolling hills. Lily had never seen anything so gentle, so peaceful, so unlike the cold and angry home she had fled. Colt dismounted first, then lifted her down without a word, his hands steady and careful like one handling something fragile. And Lily felt something stir in her chest she couldn't yet name. His sister Clara met them at the door, her apron dusted with flour, her eyes widening with concern the moment she saw Lily's torn feet and trembling frame. Without questioning or prying, Clara wrapped an arm around her and guided her inside, speaking softly as though she knew what it was to be afraid. The house smelled of warm bread and cedar wood, and every corner felt lived in, loved in, something Lily had never known. Clara washed and bandaged her feet while Lily stared at the table, fighting the ache inside her chest, not from running but from feeling safe, something that made her want to cry harder than any pain her father had ever caused. Colt sat quietly across from her, hat in his hands, waiting until she was ready to speak. When Lily finally whispered that her father had never allowed her to step beyond the fences, had never let her choose her own friends, her own clothes, her own dreams, Colt's expression darkened with something quiet and fierce. "You didn't do wrong by running," he said, voice steady. But Lily shook her head as tears finally spilled over. "He always finds me, and when he does, he makes sure I regret it." Clara clasped her hand gently, not with pity but with understanding, as though she'd held the hands of broken things before. Colt leaned forward, his gaze unwavering. "I won't let him take you back." Those words should have given her comfort, but instead, fear rippled through her, not for herself, for him. Her father was a man who owned guns, cattle hands, and a rage that swallowed everything it touched. He had already lost a wife, and he would burn the world before He lost control of his last possession, his daughter. Lily's voice trembled, her fear spilling out like storm water. He will come, Colt, and when he does, he won't come to talk. He'll come to fight. Colt didn't flinch. He simply rose, walked to the door, and looked out at the darkening horizon, where shadows stretched like warnings. Then I'll be standing right here, he said quietly. But Lily's heart ached, because the danger wasn't just coming. It was already on its way.